How's it going, everybody? My name's Robert, and today we're going to talk about exactly how much money I make as a resident physician or a doctor in training. It's not always exactly how much you might think. And at the end of the video, we're going to talk about a couple additional revenue streams that I'm currently working on right now and hope to grow over the next few days. Before we get started, welcome back to the channel. For those that are new, my name's Robert. I'm a resident physician by day, and at night, I take you on my crypto and investing journey. Before we get started, if you don't mind, hit the like button, consider hitting subscribe if you get any value out of this, and let's just jump right into it. So I'm not making this video to brag by any means. I'm really just making this because when I started out in medical school, and even before medical school, when I was an undergraduate student, I was always curious how much resident physicians make. Again, I'm not making this to brag. There are folks who make way more money than me. And the goal of this is really to just be transparent and shed some light on this. Before we get into the actual numbers, I think one thing that's really important to talk about is we are not paid hourly. Put differently, I always made the exact same amount in a 2-week period or my monthly salary, regardless of how many hours I worked. The other thing that I wanted to mention just a little bit with this is what it takes to get here, right? In undergrad, most people don't work. Some do, but at most they're maybe working 10 to 20 hours a week. And that's because to get into medical school, you typically have to take 300 and 400 level biology and chemistry courses, and those can be pretty tough. So a lot of folks, myself included, find it pretty tough to work during those years or semesters. A quick side note, before I actually started to go to school full time, I actually worked as an EMT in Las Vegas, and I worked anywhere from 40 to 50 hours a week. And I went to school part-time. So it actually took me 10 years to get a 4-year degree because I was working as an EMT for 7 of those years. And then I finally quit my job, sold my house, and actually moved back in with my father, talk about humbling, to finish my last 2 to 3 years of my undergrad because I knew I was going to be taking some of these upper level biology and chemistry courses. And I had to take the MCAT, which is the medical entrance exam to go to medical school here in the US. So enough talking from me. I know you guys really want to hear some of the numbers, so I'll go ahead and share my screen. All right, so there's a couple different caveats with my salary as a resident physician. I'm actually an active duty member of the Air Force because I did something called the HPSP, or Health Professions Scholarship Program, in which they paid for my medical school and then they gave me a small living stipend to live off in medical school, with the understanding that I would pursue an active duty residency, and then I actually owe them 4 years. And when I say them, I mean the United States Air Force. I owe them 4 years as a physician once I finish my residency. So we're going to go over both active duty resident physician salaries and just normal or civilian resident physician salaries. So like most active duty folks, my pay is broken down here. I'm a captain with less than 2 years in service because our medical school years don't count. So my basic pay is a little over $5,000 a month. We also get a stipend for our living expenses. So I do not live on base. I own a house where I go to residency, and this money I just use towards my mortgage payment. We also get a couple other stipends or bonuses paid out monthly. This is our basic allowance for subsistence. It's just like a food allowance, get a couple $100 for that. And then we actually get a bonus as being a resident physician as well. This bonus increases once we finish residency and we become what's called an attending physician. But my monthly bonus as a physician, resident physician, is just a little bit over $600. Something that I wanted to include in here was my YouTube revenue. And I kind of debated putting this in for a couple different reasons. So right now I'm trading dollars for hours. right? I know we just talked about that I'm salaried, but I, in essence, go to work, 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week. And in return, I get a paycheck. And that's great. But I'm actually starting to realize I need to start businesses such that I can leverage my time, right? I absolutely love what I do. I plan on being a resident physician. I'm a psychiatry resident, well into my 60s or 70s. But with that being said, I'm realizing that I need to leverage my time so that I can utilize that to maybe enjoy life, right? Maybe not work as many hours as a physician or, pay for my kids' school or things like that. So as a YouTube creator or content creator, right now I make $0 an hour. But I wanted to put this in here just to keep myself accountable, because maybe next year I'll make a video of this and we can update it to see where I'm at. So all of this, what is my total monthly income? Well, it comes out to a little over $8,000 a month. And then my annual salary, just some simple math, is a little bit under $100,000. There's a couple of things that I didn't mention in here. We also have a 401k match of 5%. So I do contribute to that. And then we get basic health insurance as well. So I kind of wanted to do a little bit of a thought experiment here because I thought this would be fun. So I'm taking the worst case example. Full disclosure, I probably do not work 80 hours a week right now. I'm probably closer to 50 or 60 as I'm in my second year of training. But there were a couple months during my intern year where I definitely worked close, if not more than 80 hours a week. So some simple math, that would come out to 320 hours a month. And there we can see I made, on the worst months, approximately $25 an hour. Now, again, I probably don't work that many hours now, but I feel like it was a really good kind of thought experiment to see, okay, $25 an hour. So this is an active duty resident physician salary. You're probably wondering what like a normal resident physician who's not in the military makes. Well, they make approximately $4,500 a month to roughly 55. I put 54. And that's because it really depends on location. So there are some residency programs in California and New York, or just any areas in the country where the cost of living is higher. They'll make more money to adjust for the higher cost of living. So annual salary here might come out to, I don't know, roughly $55,000 to $60,000 a year. And if we use the same math, kind of working the max number of hours of week, 320 hours a month, these folks are making little over $14 an hour. And again, this is not taking into account that medical students do not work. So all of their debt or their debt from undergrad or medical school, that's all accruing interest, right? So yes, attending physicians or physicians after they finish residency do make, they're paid very well, but you also have to take into account they're accumulating a lot of debt, which is racking up a ton of interest. So hopefully this was shed some light, right? Gave you some value. You can see exactly what I'm making as a resident physician and what most resident physicians make. Everybody's going to be a little bit different, right? Depending on where you are in the country. But the average resident physician makes $4,000 to $5,000, maybe $6,000 a month. If this was at all useful for you, feel free to give me a like, comment down below. What were you expecting? Did this number surprise you? Were you expecting more? Were you expecting less? And if you don't mind, consider giving me a subscribe, as it really does help. Also, if you like this video, you may consider checking out this one here.